Every time there is a Chunin exam, not only do countries that want to be ninjas come to participate, there are also countries with large and small businesses that like to join in the fun, rushing to observe this once every 3 years Chunin exam. Ninja status in the ninja world is very high, always admired by people. Furthermore, he is a bit of a gambler by nature, and also likes to borrow the Chunin exam time to make all kinds of bets, using this to make a fortune. Other than that, the most direct benefit is to hold this national Chunin exam, which is to borrow the Chunin exam's reputation and tricks, and attract many people from other places to come here to observe. More people can attract more spending, increasing the income of villagers in the village. These last 3,000 miles were precisely because a large number of customers had come one after another, causing the already bustling and prosperous Hidden Leaf village to become even more bustling. Even the stalls selling small wares had become even more energetic because of the increased number of customers. 3 days later, the Chunin exams arrived on time. The first round of the exam is still the same as the original, with Ibiki supervising the first round of the written exam. Among the other candidates, there were several fake examiners. They all knew the correct answers to the written test. The purpose of this written exam is to test whether the participating ninjas have strong investigative abilities and can obtain the correct answers. On the examination hall, everyone displayed their supernatural powers. Luke Dao dozed through careful listening to the sound, recognized what other people wrote, and copied the entire copy. Sasuke uses Sharingan's simulation ability to draw other people's brush strokes, writing one stroke at a time. Gaara through the third trachoma directly got the correct answer. There's also Kankuro using puppets, Shino Aburame using insects, Kiba Inuzuka using Akamaru. Wait a minute. Naruto's method of handling it was even simpler. He simply didn't copy anything and just handed over a blank piece of paper. On the contrary, Ibiki had publicly revealed the correct answer earlier, so there would be no discovery. The first round of the exam ended very quickly. There were a total of 96 reference staff. Excluding the eliminated ninja, there were a total of 78 people left. What the hell happened to that Ibiki guy? Did he spill water? How come so many of them stayed behind to enter the second round of the assessment this year? Outside the Forest of Death, Anko Mitarashi frowned as she looked at the ninja who were currently receiving the Heavenly Scroll and Earthly Scroll. It seems that for the second round of the assessment, I will definitely have to increase the intensity and eliminate as many people as possible. The seventh group of 3 was still small, and also went forward with the team to get into the small wooden house, and began to receive their own team of rollers. Little Sakura grabbed the black cloth curtain of the entrance tightly, her face full of anxiety as she said, "That? Sasuke-kun, Naruto, wherever we place the scroll is relatively safe." Naruto was not at all polite. He took out a heavenly scroll from the hole in the front platform and stuffed it into his ninja tool bag. Let me go here, it's the safest place." Saying that, Naruto immediately knocked away little Sakura's hand, lifted the curtain, and went out. It wasn't because Naruto was so anxious to rush into that forest of death. It was just that among these candidates, there was one that caught Naruto's attention. The black long hair that fell to her shoulders. Wearing the Grass Village Ninja Hitayate forehead treasure. Just used that fresh kurenai long tongue, rolled up ankos used to show off and swung out a kunai, to send her back. It was one of the 3 Orochimaru. When Naruto's 3-man team walked out of the wooden house, Orochimaru also happened to smile gently and looked over here. However, its eyes did not examine Naruto, but were focused on Sasuke. A moment later, Orochimaru and his teammates flew into the dense forest of death. Little Sakura, Sasuke, let's go too. The second round of the exam has officially begun. Naruto waved his hand and headed towards the other side of the iron fence. Sasuke looked at Naruto's back as he walked away, and couldn't help but frown. This is really annoying enough, always acting like he's the leader. According to Anko's meaning, the Forest of Death belonged to a giant circular forest, surrounded by a huge iron net outside, and there were also quite a few Konoha ninja waiting. The remaining 78 ninja contestants will all enter the jungle one by one, aiming to meet up at the tower in the jungle. As for why they wanted to arrange the contestants to enter through different entrances, it was naturally to prevent the big shots from entering and launching a fierce killing spree to seize the other party's scroll. After all, before everyone entered the Forest of Death, everyone had signed a life and death certificate. If anything unexpected happened inside, including death inside, Konoha would not bear any responsibility. This kind of rule also has meaning. As long as you step into the Death Forest range, you will very likely encounter life-threatening danger. In the woods, on a wide road, the 3 people of Class 7, under Naruto's lead, swaggered forward, without much hesitation. Sasuke at this time was still competing with Naruto, quickly charging forward, walking shoulder to shoulder with Naruto, as if he fell behind, he would be in a weaker position than Naruto. Little Sakura followed behind the 2 people, occasionally looking towards the dense forest on both sides, her face showing a hurried and frantic appearance. That, Naruto Sasuke-kun, it seems a bit bad for us to be so high-profile outside here. Didn't the chief examiner just say that after entering this sea? Don't worry, little Sakura, it's okay. I'll see who dares to come out here and cause trouble for us. Naruto didn't turn his head, his eyes wide open, and continued to look around. At first, I wanted to follow Orochimaru's steps, quickly find him, and discuss some things with him. After entering this dense forest, Orochimaru seemed to have disappeared without a trace. Sasuke pinched his 2 hand knuckles. That's right, whoever dares to come and cause trouble for us, then we'll fight until he admits defeat. After hearing this, Naruto couldn't help but shake his head. Sasuke, it seems you still don't understand the rules very well. Killing someone in the forest is not against the rules. Sasuke snorted softly. Who said I don't understand the rules? Do you think my brain is not as easy to use as yours? I just said it casually. The 3 people walked and talked, and occasionally there would be cold waves of rustling sounds in the woods on both sides of the road, attracting Naruto's attention. Obviously, there must be hidden ninjas in ambush. But seeing Naruto and the others acting so high-spirited, they did not dare to launch an attack rashly. Naruto just casually glanced at those woods, then continued on his way, not paying too much attention. Continue walking forward for about 1 hour. Up ahead appeared the sound of fighting, but because the forest branches and leaves were too lush, it was impossible to see too far away. Little Sakura limped forward and looked around. What's going on? Are there people fighting up ahead? Naruto waved his hand. Let's go. Let's go see which 2 groups are fighting. Walking like this is very boring. Speaking, without waiting for the 2 to reply, Naruto took the lead and jumped up the tree, running forward. Hey! Wait for us a moment, Naruto. Little Sakura waved her hand and shouted, hurriedly calling Sasuke to chase after her. Very quickly, the shapes of the 2 sides fighting personnel clearly appeared before Naruto's eyes. Naruto stood on the tree branch, carefully observed for a moment, then muttered to himself. It's the 3 of them again. Below on the open ground, 6 people were fighting fiercely. One side has 3 people wearing the Leaf Village Ninja Hitayate forehead shield, in order, Hyuga Tenten, Rock Lee. Another way is that the 3 people wearing the Sound Village Ninja Hitayate forehead treasure, in the order of Dosa Needle, Sax Lamp, and Loot Hammer. Lenwa's Village Tornado. Rock Lee fought Dosu, but his left ear had a fresh circle of Kurenai blood on it. I'm afraid that in the battle just now, Rock Lee, because he was not familiar with the enemy's intelligence, was attacked by Dosu's sound wave. At this time, although Rock Lee tried his best to entangle with the opponent, he was clearly at a disadvantage. As for Tenten, he was fighting a girl of similar age to him, who was also proficient in a different type of sonic attack. Her sonic attack, compared to Dosu, was much weaker, using the spirit as a medium, disrupting the opponent's hearing, causing the opponent's spirit to appear confused, then using the Senbon to attack. At this time, Tenten was continuously defeated by the group. Many places on her body were stabbed and injured by the Senbon. Only Sax fought with Hyuga, but was constantly suppressed by Niji, constantly chasing and fighting to the end. Sax's ability is through improving both hands, carry out a sonic wave explosion attack. 100% air pressure, 0% ultrasonic waves follow the wind movement on the hand spray out. Use chakra to control invisible air pressure attack. But anything involving chakra attacks will leave one with nowhere to hide under Byakuya's clairvoyance. Therefore, Sax's attack ability is very intimidating to normal ninjas. Perhaps this fell into Hyuga eyes, but there was nothing threatening about it. Fortunately, Sax had rich fighting experience and was talented enough to withstand Hyuga fierce attacks and block them for so long. Little Sakura covered her mouth and said in fear, it's that guy with very thick eyebrows. How did they get surrounded by those 3 guys? When entering the first Chunin battle before the exam, Little Sakura also encountered Rock Lee blowing a kiss and confessing. Therefore, little Sakura's impression of Rock Lee is still very deep. Sasuke couldn't help but frown and said, "Let's go. This kind of thing doesn't have much to do with us. We still shouldn't get involved." Naruto shook his head, rejecting Sasuke's meaning. "It's hard to do. I can't watch them die here." Although it is said that the three people from the Sound Village are all Orochimaru's subordinates, Naruto did indeed intentionally want to cooperate with Orochimaru. But compared to these, Naruto likes the three people of Class 9 more. The situation on the battlefield below, the 9th class clearly had signs of losing. Naruto also didn't want to see Rock Lee and the three of them, just like that, die in front of him. Saying that, Naruto immediately shouted from below and asked, "Hey, Rock Lee, Tenten Niji, do you need our help?" Rock Lee covered his injured left ear, while dodging Dosa's attack, taking the time to look back in the direction of Naruto and the other three. "Is it Naruto-kun?" Tenten now used her weapon scroll to assist, finally temporarily escaping the group's attack range. She struggled to support her weak body, waved her arms and shouted loudly towards Naruto. "Naruto, what are you dawdling for? Hurry up and come down here to help." Naruto chuckled and then laughed again. You really don't consider me an outsider, so easy to order around. You, this defeated general, still have the shame to call for reinforcements. Go die." The group shouted loudly. She quickly ran towards Tenten, and at the same time, both hands also took out a large number of sunbonn silver needles from behind her waist. As she suddenly waved her hands, the silver needle stuck in the gap also flew straight towards Tenten's face. "What, that woman is too fast, disgusting, can't escape." Tenten's eyes were filled with panic. She really wanted to immediately move her two legs to avoid it, but because her two legs had just been hit by the opponent's sunbonn silver needles. At this time, I don't know if it's because of the poisoning, but my legs are numb. I'm paralyzed on the ground and can't move. Tenten could only watch as the silver needle flew towards her, scared to the point of covering her face and closing her eyes. Collection. Especially made Hiraition Kunai stepped forward first, pinning itself on the ground beside Tenten. Wow. Flying Thunder God technique activated. Naruto turned orange and disappeared from the spot, then in the blink of an eye appeared beside Tenten, like lightning reaching out to hug Tenten, once again transformed into orange lightning. Disappeared from sight. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. That large array of silver needles missed its target and was completely stuck behind a large tree. Tenten felt her body being hugged by someone, and there was no pain. Only then did she realize that something was wrong. Opening my eyes to look, I saw Naruto smiling gently and looking down at me. "Naruto, thank you." Tenten choked out a word of thanks, her eyes involuntarily filled with a layer of mist. Just then, in that instant, all kinds of thoughts flashed through her mind. She originally thought she was going to die for sure, but she didn't expect to be saved by Naruto. Naruto chuckled and then laughed again. "What are you doing, Tenten? Don't look at me so affectionately. I really do have a girlfriend." Poof! Tenten was teased to the point of poofing at Chikaru, resentfully glaring at Naruto. "Naruto, you really like to joke around. I have a lot of affection for you. Hurry up and let me down. Rock Lee and the others are still being attacked." After hearing this, Naruto also turned his head to look down. Sure enough, after losing the target of attacking the opponent, the group did not choose to immediately pursue, but instead joined their teammates to fight. Together with the weak Sax, who was attacking Hyuga. Needing to deal with two people at the same time, Hyuga also started to waste his strength. But at this moment, Sasuke, who had been motionless, also joined the battle, together with Hyuga, dealing with the two ninjas outside the village. "Alright then, I will go save those two. Consider it as my way of repaying you all for your kindness before I leave." Naruto gently placed Tenten on the tree branch and sat down, then let himself slide down. Tenten looked at Naruto's departing back, her eyes slightly fixed. He really is very attractive. At this age already has this kind of strength. Truly an extremely outstanding person. A moment later, Tenten hurriedly shook her head. Tenten, what are you infatuated with? Didn't I say I already have a girlfriend?" The group once again swung out the silver needles, forcing the approaching Uchiha Sasuke to retreat, loudly shouting, "What to do now, Dosu, Sax? The other side has reinforcements coming again. Let's retreat first." "Retreat? I'm afraid it's not that simple." A sinister voice rang out from above. Uchiha Sasuke didn't know when he had escaped the other party's sight, and he had detoured and jumped down from above. Already behind the group, Chidori. Sasuke's right palm emitted a dazzling lightning light, and he stabbed towards the heart.
Puffy.
The palm of the hand pierced through the heart. Blood flew and splattered, covering the ground around. Too weak, can't even withstand a single blow. Sasuke's mouth revealed an evil smile, forcefully pulling out the hand that had appeared with lightning. The group also at this moment completely lost their lives, not even having time to close their eyes. They fell to the ground with a thud. Little Sakura looked at Sasuke's sinister appearance and felt her heart turn cold. Her eyes were filled with fear. She covered her small mouth and said in a trembling voice, "Why is it like this? I feel like Sasuke-kun has changed now. He has changed so much that I can barely recognize him. It seems that this Sasuke guy is really a bit off." Naruto also couldn't help but frown. It's not that Sasuke shouldn't have killed the pack. It's just that the kindness he showed was somewhat different from his original kindness. If I remember correctly, Sasuke was only after meeting Orochimaru and having the cursed seal of heaven planted by Orochimaru that he slowly began to crave power and walked down that crooked path.
But now,
he hasn't even met Orochimaru yet. If this situation really continues to develop, Sasuke will most likely become the second Orochimaru in the future. Deal with one, there are two left. Sasuke muttered, turned his head to look at Sax, and was about to launch a sneak attack. But Naruto took the first step, unleashing his ultimate speed of physical technique, and in one swing he reached Sax's back. Break! Naruto raised his foot and kicked Sax hard in the back. Sax let out a miserable scream of pain. His spine made a cracking sound as he was sent flying 20 meters away. Under the friction of a broken tree branch, Sax finally fell to the ground with a thud, lying on the ground, muttering and struggling as if he was trying his best to endure the pain. Sasuke tightly held the kunai in his hand, bent down, and wanted to rush forward to slash Sax. Naruto pulled Sasuke's arm back. "Calculate, Sasuke. He's like this. I'm afraid he won't have the ability to harm people in the future. Spare his life." After saying that, without waiting for Sasuke to reply, he once again dodged and charged forward, deploying reinforcements towards Rock Lee. Such a dosu, although his attacks are very strange. But after all, he relies on science and technology and heretical methods. How can he be Naruto's opponent? Su managed to hold on for less than 3 seconds, and just like Sax, his ribs were broken. And his other left arm was also destroyed by Naruto. Without that hateful science and technology left arm, Dosu would be just an ordinary ninja in the future, with nothing outstanding about him.
Naruto-kun.
Thank you for saving us. Rock Lee sat down under Naruto's support, leaning against a large tree. At this moment, both of his ears were hit by the sound wave attack, causing his face to slightly distort in pain. Naruto patted Rock Lee's shoulder. "Rock Lee, you don't need to thank me. We are really friends who practice together." "Yes." Rock Lee nodded lightly, then looked at little Sakura, his face flushed red. "What a pity, letting Sakura-chan see me like this is really inconvenient." Feeling Rock Lee's enthusiastic gaze, little Sakura immediately bristled a bit, hurriedly hiding behind Naruto, continuously waving her hands and saying, "That? You don't need to care about my gaze like that, haha." Rock Lee, come on, use your sincerity to move her." Naruto grabbed little Sakura's arm and pulled her in front of him. Little Sakura immediately became angry. "Naruto, what are you doing?" Before he could finish speaking, Rock Lee threw a kiss. "Sakura-chan, I love you." Little Sakura bristled again, her face filled with fear as she turned around to dodge, avoiding that love attack. "Sakura-chan, please accept my love." Rock Lee's face turned red. His 2 hands started to continuously throw kisses. One after another love hearts continuously flew towards little Sakura. Help! Little Sakura screamed in fear, quickly ran away, and hid behind a large tree. Naruto was also given goosebumps by this scene. This Rock Lee guy was too disgusting, although his way of expressing love was very brave, but it made it a bit difficult for outsiders to adapt. "Naruto, thank you." Hyuga Neji slowly walked over, quietly looking at Naruto. "No need to thank me. Don't be so polite." Naruto quickly pulled Neji to the side, to avoid being affected by Rock Lee's loving kiss. Hyuga Neji shook his head. "No, I say thank you not only because you saved us this time, but also because the words you said to me last time were a great inspiration to me. Naruto scratched his head, thinking doubtfully for a long time. Which time are you talking about? When did I hit you last time? Hyuga Niji was startled. A trace of shame appeared on his face, being beaten by someone and still wanting to go over to express gratitude. This, in the eyes of normal people, was definitely what's brain. But Hyuga Niji knew he was not wrong. It was also because last time Naruto's words deeply touched his heart. These days, he tried to put down those obsessions in his heart, slowly accepted the people of the Hyuga family, and discovered that his state of mind had really changed a lot. This kind of change not only made Niji feel better but also increased his mental state and also made his strength increase by a step. Strictly speaking, I don't have to thank you for hitting me. I just have to thank you for saying those words to me, Niji said awkwardly. Naruto patted his shoulder. No need to be so polite, I'm not trying to advise you. I just don't want to see Hinata suffer all day because of this kind of thing. What? Hyuga Niji's face was filled with tears. Indeed, was he being sentimental? Really just like that? Telling the truth is very embarrassing and heartbreaking, okay? This Naruto guy is so inhumane. Naruto smiled and said, however, being able to help you makes me very happy. I hope you can quickly get rid of the shackles in your heart. Yes, thank you. Hyuga Niji nodded slightly, thinking in his heart, this Naruto guy finally said such human-like words. The three people of Class 9, except for Hyuga Niji, all suffered different degrees of injuries. From the help and concern of their fellow villagers, Naruto's three small groups waited with them for a day. The main purpose is still to help Tenten and Rock Lee heal their injuries. With their current situation as a team of 3, if they were left alone, they would definitely be targeted by other ninja teams very quickly, and there would be no way to get out of this deadly jungle alive. Ninja's physical qualities are all very strong. Rock Lee's ears received the soundwave attack, and after a night of recuperation, he had recovered quite a bit. Tenten's injuries were lighter. Although she was stabbed by a Senbon and showed signs of poisoning, after further examination, it was discovered that it was only a paralytic type of poison, and there was no physical or traumatic toxicity. So, early the next morning, the 6 people once again went their separate ways, each running to a different path and starting to move forward. The third class of 9th grade still couldn't get the scroll, but Niji was a stronger guy. He didn't hope to rely too much on Naruto to get the fruit of victory. Naruto himself had no intention of bringing them up. After all, his main purpose of entering the jungle was to find Orochimaru to negotiate. By that time, with the 9th class of 3 people here, it will be a hindrance and not very good for performance. Naruto, yesterday I saw you seemingly carrying the scroll from that hunchback ninja. Is it the scroll of heaven we are looking for? In the woods, little Sakura continued to follow behind the 2 people, sending out greetings to Naruto. Naruto nodded slightly. It's the heavenly scroll. It's a perfect match for our earthly scroll. Now we just need to run to the central tower of the forest, and we can smoothly complete the mission. Little Sakura said doubtfully. Is that so? Then why don't we speed up our progress and quickly reach the center of the tower, so we can rest early? Sasuke turned his head and glared at little Sakura. How could you rest without thinking about other factors? There were 78 people participating in the Ninja Forest exam, and everyone had different levels of strength. What method do you think those powerful ninjas chose to harvest the scroll? Little Sakura scratched her head. Hunt down the other ninja squads, then take it back. Sasuke nodded slightly. Yes. You are only half right, but this piece of it is precisely because of this that those powerful ninjas do not want to fail their own assessment. So they will speed up their journey and head to the location near the center of the tower to set up an ambush. Because the other side is where every ninja team has to pass. They can only ambush on the other side. Only then will the probability of obtaining the scroll be greater. Little Sakura suddenly understood. So it's like this, Sasuke-kun. You're really smart. In other words, now that we have 2 types of scrolls, the slower we go, the less likely we are to encounter danger. Naruto quietly listened to the 2 people's analysis, and also felt that what Sasuke said made a lot of sense. However, Naruto did not consider that much. Even whether this test could be successful was not the key concern for Naruto. If I guess correctly, that Orochimaru guy is most likely nearby right now, peeking at Naruto and the other 3's actions. Look, there's a beam on that tree over there. As she was walking, little Sakura suddenly let out a cry of surprise. Snake? Naruto was slightly stunned, looking back in the direction that little Sakura pointed. Sure enough, in front of a row of big trees, there were quite a few long snakes crawling around on the branches, emitting continuous hissing sounds. Why did so many snakes suddenly appear? It must be something wrong. Sasuke frowned and said in a low voice. As soon as he finished speaking, a woman carrying the grass village Hittite forehead treasure slowly walked out from behind the big tree in front. She stretched out her long tongue and licked the side of her mouth, letting out strange laughter. You three, I heard you have obtained 2 of the scrolls. Hand over all the scrolls. This way you will have enough lives. Orochimaru? This guy finally appeared. Naruto quietly looked at Orochimaru, silently saying. Sasuke's mouth revealed a trace of a sinister smile. If you want us to roll, I'm afraid you don't have that life. Hearing this threatening words, Orochimaru couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Is that so? Then I actually want to see what kind of abilities you have. Speaking, Orochimaru's eyes condensed, and a vicious weapon was released from his body without any reservation.
Ah!
Little Sakura's face instantly turned full of fear. After a scream, she fell to the ground unconscious. Sasuke felt that aura, and also felt like his soul was being attacked by a demon. His entire body's muscles were trembling uncontrollably. Disgusting. What the hell happened just now? That was an illusion. Even Naruto felt a coldness sweep through his entire body. And he couldn't help but shiver. Sure enough, this kind of murderous weapon is not something that a shinobi can have. It must have come from Orochimaru's Kage-level strength, plus his accumulation of countless murders over the years. Orochimaru's mouth revealed a trace of contemptuous smile. You're quite good at bragging. But unfortunately your strength is also not that great. It seems that the Uchiha bloodline is no better than this. Compared to Kimimaro, you really aren't even worthy of carrying his shoes. Shaking his head in disappointment, Orochimaru took out a few kunai and waved his hand towards Naruto and Sasuke. Go die. Sasuke's consciousness was now completely clear. But because his muscular body was out of control, he could only watch as the kunai rushed towards him, but he was unable to move. Disgusting. I can't die here. Move quickly. Sasuke kept trying to cheer himself up in his heart. His hand grabbed the kunai and changed the tip of the blade, stabbing strongly at his thigh. But right at the kunai blade tip distance of 5 centimeters from the thigh, one hand grabbed Sasuke's wrist. Sasuke, stop. There's no need to hurt yourself like that. Naruto swung a kunai with one hand, knocking the kunai that was thrown at him away, while the other hand grabbed Sasuke's wrist. Naruto, Sasuke just now regained his senses. Looked at Naruto gratefully. At the same time his heart was also a little shaken. The Grass Village ninja's aura just now was truly terrifying. Orochimaru was slightly stunned, looking at Naruto with a hint of appreciation in his eyes. Ah, this brat can actually recover so quickly. Wait a minute, that blonde hair? Could it be that Kid Minato is? Seeing Naruto's hair color, Orochimaru had a little guess in his heart. In the ninja world, hair color also represents some clan symbols. Sasuke clenched the kunai in his hand, his face full of vigilance as he stared at Orochimaru. Naruto, little Sakura has passed out. Use your shadow clone to bring little Sakura to a safe place first. That guy in front of him looks very difficult to deal with. Go, no problem. Naruto nodded in agreement. If he really wanted to fight like this, little Sakura would definitely lose her life. Multiple shadow clone technique. The shadow clone seal was completed. 200 Narutos continuously appeared, split into 2 people, hugged little Sakura, and jumped behind a large tree. Shadow clones. To be able to reach this number, it's really a bit surprising. Orochimaru let out a strange laugh, his expression teasing as he spoke. Naruto shook his head and said, 200 is just my shadow clone's very small number. Sometimes dividing into several thousand people is not a problem. Humph. Loudly. Orochimaru was obviously a little skeptical. Sasuke, go. Not wasting any more time, Naruto spoke and charged straight forward with 198 shadow clones. Negotiating with someone like Orochimaru, one must definitely prove one's strength to him. Moreover, Sasuke was still by his side at this time, so there were some things Naruto felt uncomfortable talking about. Multi-shadow snake hand. Orochimaru waved his right hand, causing his arm to transform into 5 pythons, stretching out towards those shadow clones and swinging them. Break. One move defeated 60 or more Naruto shadow clones. But there were still 100 or more people left. These 100 people simultaneously took out their specially made Hiraishin kunai and swung them towards Orochimaru. It really isn't bad. Orochimaru sneered, squatting down and reaching for a particularly large piece of moat pond stone beside his feet, blocking it in front of him. Ding ding. The kunai hit the stone pond above, sending up sparks and making a loud noise.
Wow. Wow.
100 good. How much Naruto shadow clone transformed into orange lightning suddenly disappeared on the spot. In the next blink of an eye, more than 100 people appeared in front of the stone pond, holding a rotating pale blue chakra light ball in their hands and fiercely smashed towards the stone pond. Raise again. Raise again. Raise again. Just after enduring 2 pills, Ao Thatchban suddenly exploded with a loud bang. What it's really Minato's ninjutsu. Shurban behind Orochimaru's eyes revealed fear, watching each Rasengan hit him, but there was no way to dodge. Many places on his body were hit by the Rasengan. Orochimaru screamed miserably, his whole body spun and flew backwards. With a thud, Orochimaru fell to the ground. But before Naruto could get excited, the body that fell to the ground turned into a pool of black mud, scattering on the ground with a rustle. Naruto! Be careful! Sasuke, who was always at the back, let out a cry of alarm as a reminder. Maybe his reminder is still a little late. A small tremor appeared. Then in the blink of an eye, 5 pythons crawled out from the ground and charged straight towards those Naruto shadow clones, slashing past. Break, 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 break. Another huge wave of Naruto shadow clone was smashed, continuously exploding white mists that dissipated. However, Naruto's main body had already used Hiraishin to escape and did not receive any damage. This Orochimaru guy. He really has many schemes. Naruto stood on the tree branch, unable to help but frown. After a successful attack, Orochimaru immediately crawled out from underground, excitedly stretching out his long tongue, licking the side of his mouth. It's been a long time since I've encountered such an interesting little brat. I'm a bit excited. Not knowing when, Sasuke had already left the place. He quickly ran to the attack range, forming a clan's ninjutsu hand seal. Fire release, great fireball technique. One hand extended in front of him. A thread of fire sprayed out from Sasuke's mouth, converging into a large fireball, rolling straight towards Orochimaru's direction. Boom boom. The fireball was so hot that it burned a large area of the ground. If it was Sasuke before, using fire release definitely wouldn't have achieved this effect. It seems that Kakashi's recent bias towards Sasuke isn't just to teach him lightning release. At this moment, although Naruto and Sasuke were not standing in the same position, their vision was blocked by that undulating fireball, and they immediately lost track of Orochimaru. Fire release ninjutsu is not bad, but how could this kind of thing kill someone? Orochimaru's deep, strange laughter rang out. He didn't dodge at all, directly following the fireball's envelope and rushing out. Ba-na bit, transformed into an afterimage. In the blink of an eye reached in front of Sasuke. What this guy? Sasuke's face was filled with horror, but his body's muscles reacted very quickly. The 2 eyes stopped. The black pupils turned bright red. 2 pearls rapidly formed within the 2 pupils. Break, 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 break. The sound of fists and feet clashing rang out, and the 2 began to fight each other with their body arts. Although Sasuke was continuously defeated by the opponent, he relied on his Sharingan's ability to see clearly and predict. But he could barely keep up with Orochimaru's rhythm. On the other side, just as he was about to go up to support Naruto, he suddenly felt the tree trunk under his feet shaking slightly. Turning his head to look back, a green python several dozen meters long appeared at some unknown time, struggling with its huge body, crushing countless large trees, and inching closer towards Naruto. When did that Orochimaru guy summon the summoning beast? Naruto muttered. The python's mouth spat out a snake tongue, its eyes coldly glaring at Naruto. However, Naruto also recognized the snake. It was the giant python that swallowed Naruto into its stomach during the second round of the Chunin exam. This kind of snake, except for its large size, probably doesn't have many attacking methods. Even Manda's perverted skin has a defense of 10 out of 10. It can be said that this useless head does not pose any threat to Naruto. Little snake, come here, I'll play with you. Naruto beckoned. The python seemed to understand Naruto's disdain and provocation, opened its mouth and let out a roar, sped up its wriggling body. and wandered towards Naruto. Rustle. The giant snake's tail swung strongly, charging towards Naruto. With a loud bang, the one-tailed beast swept down a large area of trees. Haha. The power is not small. Naruto had already jumped up high. As soon as his feet landed on the ground, Naruto immediately displayed his speed advantage, disappearing from the spot like lightning, hugging the python's water barrel-like snake tail. Come on! Naruto clenched his teeth and suddenly shouted, his face red as he tried to push it up. The giant snake's tall body was hugged by Naruto and began to fly around in circles. Crack, crack. Each and every thick old tree was hit by the giant python's tall body. The python immediately started to cry out in pain, as if it was begging for mercy. Naruto, quickly take care of that stinking snake and come help, this guy is too strong. While resisting Orochimaru's fierce attack, Sasuke took the time to turn his head to the side to watch Naruto's show. Naruto let go of the thick snake tail that surrounded him, and the python was immediately thrown several dozen meters away by the remaining force, knocking over a large tree. Hoo-ho, don't be impatient. Wait for me a moment. It will be fine soon. Naruto heavily panted and once again ran towards the python at full speed. If Naruto really wanted to deal with such a giant snake, it would be a very simple matter. Whether it was the monster power fist or the Rasengan, it could blast that snake head to pieces in one blow. But Naruto at this time did not intend to do so, but chose to intentionally prolong the time. First of all, Naruto wanted to find Orochimaru to talk. He couldn't let anyone else know, because this matter involves a lot of parties. This is an escape from the village, and also colluding with the ninja to betray. How can it be casually let outsiders know? Next, Orochimaru also played the role of the fourth Kazekage, while the other side played the role of the grass village ninja and mixed into the Chunin exam field. The purpose was precisely to come for Uchiha Sasuke. The reason Orochimaru impersonated Kazekage was because he wanted to use the Sand Village's power to cooperate with him and attack and take down Konoha in one fell swoop. Mixed into the Chunin exam hall, but only came purely for the pure bloodline of the Uchiha clan, Sharingan. Shimura Danzo's entire arm of Sharingan could not be separated from Orochimaru's cooperation to support the transplant. If Orochimaru only wanted to obtain a pair of Sharingan, he could have used Danzo's method to perform the transplant himself. But even if Orochimaru used the reincarnation technique without a test, he could forcefully take over his human body. Therefore, Orochimaru mixed into the Chunin exam field, precisely to estimate Uchiha Sasuke's strength, wanting to see if Sasuke could or could not become the next generation's vessel. It is also because of this form that Uchiha Sasuke at this moment, although he looks extremely dangerous, will not accept any real-life threat. That Naruto guy, what the hell is he doing? Sasuke cursed, unable to hold back the anger in his heart. He knew exactly how strong Naruto was. Blocking and killing a giant snake was a very simple matter. Maybe at this moment Naruto was still playing around like he was, but it wasn't the big snake that was killing him, which made Sasuke a bit unable to understand. This strange grass village ninja is too strong to the point of giving people a feeling of suffocation, as if there is no way to defeat him. If that's the case, then why don't you let me try that one out? Sasuke fought and retreated, luring Orochimaru to the most advantageous place for him to attack. A 1,000-year-old tree on the branch. Sasuke jumped up, kicked towards Orochimaru's face, but was blocked by Orochimaru's hand. Sasuke also used this kicking force to flip backwards several times in the air, escaping the close combat circle. Katan. Hausenka no Jutsu. Fire release. Phoenix fire technique. As soon as his feet landed on the ground, Sasuke formed a hand seal and completed a fire release ninjutsu. He stood in front of him with one hand. Fireballs shot out from his mouth, flying straight towards Orochimaru. The speed of the seal formation is not bad, but it's a pity. I just said it. This kind of attack is useless against me. Hum hum hum. Orochimaru let out a strange laugh, bent down left and right to dodge, avoiding that fireball, and prepared to shoot towards Sasuke's direction. Humph! Sasuke's mouth corners curved into a satisfied smile. That's not necessarily true. Saying that, Sasuke suddenly used a little force with both hands and pulled. At some point, several thin threads appeared in his hand, connecting to the fireball behind the shuriken. Rustle, rustle. The shuriken was pulled back, breaking free from the force of inertia that flew forward and circled around the large tree behind it several times. You've been fooled. Sasuke roared loudly, pulling with both hands. Orochimaru's body was originally surrounded by those thin threads. Now the threads were tightly grasping below. Orochimaru's body was also firmly tied to the tree. What? Orochimaru's eyes widened, looking around at those small wires. Only then did he understand what was going on. However, at this moment, his body was tied up and his hands were unable to form seals. He could only watch helplessly as Sasuke launched the next attack. Katon, Ryuka no Jutsu, Fire Release, Dragon Fire Technique. Sasuke bit the thread in his mouth and completed the hand seal with both hands. A silver flame spewed out from its mouth, following each small thread towards Orochimaru's direction, sweeping away the past.
Ah!
Orochimaru was surrounded by flames. This time he finally couldn't bear the burning, letting out a miserable cry as if his heart was broken. Fire Release Ninjutsu is not as weak as you think. Sasuke's mouth revealed a cold smile. Just now, Orochimaru repeatedly ignored Fire Release, even causing Sasuke to start to doubt his own ninjutsu. Just fooling you. Orochimaru's strange laughter rang out once again. The fire waves of the situation receded, revealing Orochimaru's figure. She was still tied to the tree. Her skin was burned black and rotten. Even some of the meat had been roasted into a thick liquid, slowly dripping downwards. But she seemed to never know the pain, just using that teasing evil gaze, quietly looking at Sasuke and laughing. That's a bit interesting. The Uchiha clan's Sharingan is indeed worthy of its reputation. It seems my visit this time was worth it. This guy? What the hell is he? Sasuke's eyes revealed fear. Orochimaru's disgusting appearance, coupled with that kind of gaze, made him unable to help but feel cold all over, and he stomped back 2 steps. But very quickly, Sasuke realized that his mood was a bit off. At this time, Orochimaru was still tied up, and he still had the upper hand. Calm down, don't be fooled by that guy's easygoing appearance. Sasuke shook his head vigorously, his left hand firmly holding his right wrist. What a joke. As an Uchiha Avenger, how could I be easily intimidated by you here? Roaring angrily, Sasuke's right palm emitted a dazzling electric arc. As he quickly shot towards Orochimaru, the tail of the electric current in his palm also touched the surface of the tree trunk, tracing a very long trajectory on the tree branches. Humph. Orochimaru's expression remained unchanged. He let out a soft humph and twisted his head twice. His neck immediately stretched out and flew straight toward Sasuke. What? Sasuke was once again shocked by the scene before his eyes. Orochimaru's strange methods today have continuously renewed his understanding. Before he could react, Sasuke felt his right hand cool. Looking down, he found Orochimaru's neck wrapped around his right hand several times. Under a huge squeezing force, the lightning in Sasuke's hand disappeared without a trace. Before he could react, Orochimaru's head had already reached the middle of his neck. Orochimaru opened his mouth wide. A strong bite took Sasuke on the neck. Ah! The black heavenly curse seal formed. Sasuke felt a tearing pain, as if there was a force, following the skin of his neck, entering his body. The body uncontrollably started to tremble, and fell onto the branches of a huge tree, curling up into a ball and falling into a coma. Your body has reached the standard I recognize. Next will be whether you can withstand the pain of the heavenly curse seal. Orochimaru let out a strange laugh. His neck rapidly retracted, and his body also escaped from the small wire. He slowly walked towards Sasuke's direction. The more he looked, the more he felt that Sasuke's body was very suitable for his standard of being a transfer creature. Collect. Not waiting for Orochimaru to get close to Sasuke, several kunai flew past, focusing on Sasuke in front of him.
Wow.
A streak of orange light flashed, appearing beside the kunai. Naruto hugged the unconscious Sasuke, smiled and looked at Orochimaru and said, Mr. Orochimaru, the time is almost here. Next let's talk to the two of us.
What?
How did you know? Orochimaru's face turned pale. But before he could finish speaking, Naruto disappeared, taking Sasuke with him and leaving this place, putting Sasuke and the unconscious little Sakura together. Naruto said to the 3 shadow clones, All right, leave their safety to you guys. I'll go play with that stinky snake first.
Ah!
The clones shouted in agreement, forming a circle to protect Sasuke and Sakura in the middle.
Wow.
Flying Thunder God technique activated again. Next moment, Naruto appeared in front of Orochimaru. Squatting down, Naruto took back his specially made Hiraishin kunai and looked at Orochimaru with a smile, saying, "It's inconvenient. I just had to deal with some things. Now we can have a good chat." Orochimaru couldn't help but frown and asked in a low voice, "Little brat, how do you know me?" Naruto raised his chin. "Let me think about it. How do I know you? That's right. I knew you as soon as you appeared, one of the Sannin Orochimaru, right?" Orochimaru's eyebrows furrowed even more. "What do you mean? I actually don't care why you recognized me. But why did you come to tell me these words after that Uchiha kid passed out?" At this time, Orochimaru had seen that Naruto's strength was not ordinary, and Naruto wanted to carry his teammates to negotiate with him. There must be some purpose. Naruto nodded slightly. "I won't lie to you, Mr. Orochimaru, through some of my own methods. I already know what your purpose is for sneaking into Konoha this time. You want to unite with the Sand Village, hide together, and carry out a plan of revenge and destruction against Konoha." Shadow Snake Hand. Before he could finish speaking, a cold glint flashed in Orochimaru's eyes, and he waved his hand to launch an attack towards Naruto. Regardless of how this blonde little devil in front of him knew about these things, in his eyes, to Orochimaru, this was an important threat. If at this time the blonde little devil were to reveal this news and let the people of Konoha know, then Orochimaru's hundreds of plans and schemes over the years would all be in hot water. "Mr. Orochimaru, I just came to discuss something with you. There's no need to be so bold." Naruto flipped backwards several times to avoid the python's attack. Orochimaru quickly approached Naruto again, engaging in a close-quarters grappling match. Death in the jungle. There, on top of the dense forest of branches and leaves, there were two masked ninjas, who had just been talking to Naruto and Orochimaru, so they could hear clearly. Ever since that day Naruto caused a ruckus in the base, Shimura Danzo was furious and ordered a squad of members to be sent to the base to specifically monitor Uzumaki Naruto. But when these people sat waiting in Naruto's house, they discovered that Naruto, who had always been acting out of habit, used the Flying Thunder God technique to change position and then disappeared without a trace. It was a pity that these members of the branch sometimes waited outside the room for half a day, still thinking that Naruto had not come out. It was not until Naruto ran home from outside in the dark that they realized they were really stupid and didn't even know when the surveillance target left. In desperation, these members of the base could only ask Danzo to summon some specially skilled hidden body Jonin to closely monitor Naruto. This form can also further complete Danzo's message of supervision mission. But now the two ninjas in the jungle were extremely skilled at hiding their bodies. Even if Orochimaru was a master below, there was no way to easily detect them. Unless the two of them created a ruckus that could be detected, or had a ninja-like feeling, and were investigating the surroundings. "Bless the tree, is what that Uzumaki Naruto said true? Is that guy below really one of the Sannin Orochimaru?" The tree guardian frowned. Looking at his attack methods, it must be Orochimaru. "I really didn't think that someone like Orochimaru would actually infiltrate Konoha, and even intend to carry out a plan of revenge and destruction against Konoha. We must think of a way to leave this place quickly and report everything to Lord Danzo." The two glanced at each other, both understood each other's intentions, and prepared to find the right moment to escape. "Mr. Orochimaru, if you force me like this again, I won't be polite." Naruto dodged Orochimaru's attack while also gathering a large amount of chakra on the outside of his fist. A powerful punch was swung out, straight towards Orochimaru's face. Not good. Orochimaru's eyebrows slightly furrowed. Feeling the immense force on Naruto's fist, he immediately did not dare to underestimate it and quickly retreated to avoid it. Her body transformed into a snake, wrapping around the sturdy tree branches and turning around in a circle. Even though Naruto was very fast, she cleverly dodged past him. Boom boom. Naruto's fist hit the 1,000-year-old tree branch. A loud bang. Several adults surrounded the old tree, but was punched to the point of breaking, rumbling to one side. This 1,000-year-old tree was at least several dozen meters tall, leaning to one side and falling, which was exactly where the two figures were hiding. "Bless the tree. Be careful." Kukwa let out a cry of alarm, hurriedly pulling his teammate's arm and quickly retreating. But they just flashed and jumped away, immediately appearing before Naruto and Orochimaru's eyes. "I really didn't expect that there would be two rats hidden here." Naruto's face was slightly frightened, and he quickly dodged and chased after the two people. Orochimaru also realized the seriousness of the problem, not lagging behind Naruto at all, quickly struggling with that snake-like body, turning around and wriggling towards another base member. These two ninjas are indeed masters of tracking and hiding. Their escape speed was truly first-rate. They were so fast that even after images appeared. But this kind of speed in front of Naruto basically can't be lifted, only using less than 10 seconds, already stopped in front of that tiger-faced ninja. Are you a root person or an umbu person? Naruto asked in a deep voice. Stop talking nonsense. A traitor like you, from Konoha, has no right to know. The tiger-faced ninja scolded without any courtesy. He immediately waved his hand and threw out several shuriken, shooting straight towards Naruto. You have a great temper. It's a pity you can't go today. Naruto held a kunai in his hand to block and knock down each shuriken. But, unexpectedly, the speed of the tiger-faced ninja's seal formation was not slow. In just a moment, a fire-release ninjutsu seal formation was completed. Katan, Karyudan, fire release, fire dragon bullet. He spat out a long thread of fire, converging into a huge square fireball, sweeping away the past in Naruto's direction. Earth-flowing wall. Naruto's reaction was not slow. He completed the earth-release ninjutsu seal, squatted down, and clapped his palms on the ground. Boom boom. A huge tremors appeared. A wall of earth and rock about 5 meters wide instantly broke through the ground and stood tall in front of Naruto. Good opportunity. The tiger-faced ninja's face was slightly happy. He knew Naruto was difficult to deal with. At this moment, when Naruto used defensive ninjutsu, he lost sight of himself. As long as he finds a chance to turn around and break out of the siege and escape, he still has a chance to escape. Q. We must stop these two. I'll go first. Turning his head to glance in the direction of his teammates, the tiger-faced ninja turned around and prepared to jump up the big tree to escape. But when he turned around, he saw a kunai flying towards him from behind, stuck in the ground. Kia kunai handle's special design has a complex black round imprinted pattern. With a bang, an orange light flashed, and Naruto appeared in front of him, the kunai in his hand resting above his throat. Wanna run away from my hands? I'm afraid you don't have the ability. Naruto's mouth corner revealed a trace of confident smile. He raised his hand and prepared to peel off the tiger's face. Go to hell. This tiger-faced ninja also had a lot of backbone, swinging the kunai in his hand and stabbing towards Naruto's heart.
Puffy.
Kunai blade slashed through that ninja mask's throat. A blood arrow flowed out. The tiger-faced ninja immediately cried out in pain, covered his throat and fell down, struggling and twisting in pain. It's so nice to talk to you. You must be so anxious. Then you can't blame me. Naruto shook his head, squatted down to reveal his tiger face, and found it was just an unfamiliar face that he didn't even recognize. Pushing open that ninja's mouth again, following the black tongue seal on his tongue tip, only then did he confirm that this guy was a root member. Indeed, these two mice are both hunting dogs. Naruto angrily cursed. Although it was unclear why Danzo had to send someone here, the other two were obviously not here to monitor Orochimaru. Orochimaru may not have shown up yet, let alone gone to find Danzo to negotiate. There is only one possibility left. Danzo held a grudge against Naruto for causing trouble earlier and wanted to find an opportunity to take revenge. Thinking back to Naruto's childhood and all the painful experiences, the Chunin's hatred for Danzo grew even deeper. This kind of old dog really can't be kept. Wait and see, Danzo. Grandpa will soon send you on your way. Another side. That ninja was also completely no match for Orochimaru. After less than 2 rounds of fighting, he was immediately pinned down by Orochimaru. Little devil, these people are here to find you. Keeping you here is really a troublemaker. Go to hell with them. Orochimaru tilted his head back, using that forest's gaze to glare at Naruto. He struggled with his snake body, quickly pressing towards Naruto. You stinking snake, no matter how much I say it, you still won't listen? Do you really think you're invincible just because you're a Sannin? I can't beat you until you submit right now. Naruto at this time also suppressed the anger in his heart. After Orochimaru's many provocations, he also did not intend to continue talking nonsense with him. Originally wanted to cooperate with him, find an opportunity to quickly deal with that old man third Hokage, then with the fastest speed, deal with those high-level members of Konoha, and completely capture the entire Konoha.
But what about now?
This guy Orochimaru always thinks he's so awesome, looking down on Naruto. If that's the case, then Naruto still hasn't realized his own strength yet. On the contrary, in this jungle, there's not much taboo, no need to worry about destroying the surrounding environment. 8 gates Dunjia. 5th gate, open. Naruto clenched his fists. His entire body's muscles tensed up with effort. As the 5th door meridian completely opened, a silvery green steam emitted from within the body, causing the zipper of Naruto's orange sportswear to burst open. The forehead was covered with blue veins, and strong green steam was flying straight up. That kind of technique. Is it the one Might Die was good at back then? How did this Nine-Tails brat use it? Orochimaru stopped and assessed Naruto's condition. Orochimaru, I didn't want to fight you at first, but you forced me. Just wait until I get beaten. Naruto shouted loudly, immediately bowed slightly, and disappeared from the spot. But this is not using the Flying Thunder God technique. It is purely relying on the body technique, quickly causing a vague afterimage to appear. So fast. Orochimaru was a bit shocked. This was the first time he had directly fought this type of high-level physical technique. Multi-Shadow Snake Hand. Her right arm suddenly swung up, the arm transformed into 5 split python heads, directly coiled towards Naruto's direction. Naruto's speed was fast. He shook his position a few times and ran, dodging and winding around, and with a bang, appeared in front of Orochimaru. Too slow. Eat my punch. A large amount of chakra converged at the fist. A powerful punch was swung out. Although Orochimaru tried his best to dodge, his body still couldn't keep up with Naruto's current speed. Break! The powerful fist hit Orochimaru's face. That face appeared a strange distortion. Then, the whole person flew out like a cannonball. Crack, crack. As big as a giant tree's thigh. About 7 or 8 of them were knocked down by Orochimaru from behind. Only then did his body stop and fall to the ground with a thud. In just a moment, Orochimaru lay there, not knowing whether he was alive or dead. In the dense forest appeared a brief calm, only the sound of the wind blowing past the ears. Naruto once again bent down and rushed out, running straight towards Orochimaru's direction. Orochimaru's nickname is really a rogue snake. No matter how you beat him, he can't kill him. Just now that attack although looked extremely fierce, but still not enough to pose a life-threatening threat to Orochimaru. Interesting, that kind of attack just now must be a trick that Tsunade is good at. You little brat actually used it. A strange laughter rang out. Orochimaru's body twisted strangely, and he sat up from the ground. There was a trace of blood left at the corner of his mouth. Obviously the punch just now had caused quite a bit of damage to him. But Orochimaru completely ignored the injury, his 2 arms stretched out, like a snake, lying on the ground. Formation of 10,000 serpents. Orochimaru's skull tilted back, his chest rapidly expanding. Ugh. Immediately after, she opened her mouth and suddenly spat, and black snakes poured out from her mouth. As the number of black snakes increased, Orochimaru's lips also appeared to burst, spreading all the way to his ears. Tiny black things wriggled and climbed up. In the blink of an eye, they piled up 3 meters high in front of her, turning into a giant snake tide that surged towards Naruto. Based on. Just knew this stinking snake would play this kind of disgusting circus act. Naruto looked at the huge number of black snakes and immediately felt a bit of fear flare up and couldn't help but frown. Calculate, then use that move. 8 gates done. Jia 6th level gate. Open. After these days of hard training, Naruto's body's endurance increased another level, and he was able to open the 6th gate of 8 gates release. Naruto crossed his arms in front of his chest, his entire body's muscles tensed. The blue veins on his forehead once again increased in number. As the scene's acupoints were completely opened, a green steam, even more intense than before, sprayed out from within the body. Steam rose up and oozed out, surpassing the surrounding more than 10-meter-tall giant tree. There were quite a few ninja contestants around, all attracted by the commotion here. Look, what is that green thing? Chakra? How could it be? Chakra is not capable of reaching such a gigantic level. Drink. Peacock direction. Naruto suddenly jumped up, his body in the air started swinging his 2 fists. From the beginning, the punching speed was not that fast, but a red flame appeared on the fist. As Naruto swung his fist, the speed increased, and the fist's surface rubbed against the air. releasing a series of fierce flames, directly attacking the fierce snake tide below. Puffy puffy. Fire Fist just touched those black snakes, immediately burned their snake bodies to ashes. As the dense Fire Fist fell like raindrops, that large area of snake tide also evaporated over a large area. Not a moment later, Orochimaru spat out a snake tide wave. But it was almost completely destroyed. But the Fire Fist meteor shower in the distance had not yet ended, continuing to pound towards Orochimaru like crazy. Well, what kind of attack method is this in the end? Orochimaru's face was filled with fear. He quickly used his thumb to stroke the corner of his mouth, and his two hands quickly formed hand seals. The spiritual technique of La Shengmen.
Boom boom tilde tilde.
A great commotion appeared. A demonic iron door suddenly rose from the ground, towering in front of Orochimaru.
Boom boom tilde tilde boom boom tilde tilde.
Fire Fist hit the iron door, emitting waves of stirring sounds. But also because of the relationship of this snake tide that was just destroyed, there was no previous ferocious situation, and there was no destructive damage to the iron door. Death outside the dense forest, a wooden hut built below for shade. Anko Mitarashi held a portion of the pills that had just come out of the pot with her left hand, and grabbed the pills with her right hand, stuffing them into her mouth one by one. Today's taste is not bad. It seems the shop owner's research on new tastes is very successful. There was too much food in her mouth, causing Anko's jaw to lift up high in shock. Her beautiful face had already changed a bit, but she still had a satisfied expression as she slowly chewed and swallowed. Retired. Suddenly, two Konoha Hittite, forehead treasure, ninjas from afar, continuously appeared and ran towards Anko, slightly turning around and clasping their hands. Captain Anko, let us investigate who came. Anko nodded slightly, vaguely asking, well, how is it? Is there anything that could be suspicious? The two ninjas glanced at each other, their faces filled with solemnity. One of the tall ninjas said in a deep voice, Captain Anko, why don't you come with us and take a look? That grass village ninja named Wild Saint Sun died yesterday in the mountains behind the guest room. What? Anko's face was slightly shocked. She swallowed all the food in her mouth in one gulp, almost choking on it. The holy son of the wild, is he dead? Could it be that the guy from yesterday was really him? Anko frowned, recalling yesterday's incident before entering the forest of death and that long-tongued grass village ninja, making her feel very uncomfortable. After the candidates participating in the second round of the examination entered the forest of death, Anko also sent people to investigate the news of the grass ninja village. Maybe until now. Got the news, but that person had already died. Thinking back to the suspicious place before, Anko had some confirmation of her own speculations. 10 minutes later, Anko followed the two Konoha ninjas and arrived at the guest room behind Yamanaka. Seeing that the dead ninja from the village with the long tongue looked exactly the same as yesterday's long-tongued woman, Anko's expression changed to the point where it became even more unsightly. It really is that Orochimaru guy. Why did he have to infiltrate the Chunin exam team? Anko muttered to herself, her right hand involuntarily raised, touching the heavenly curse seal on her left shoulder. In her mind, she recalled all the experiences she had with Orochimaru before and how Orochimaru brought her along to do experiments, and how Orochimaru completely abandoned her in the end. The expression on Anko's face changed continuously. You too. Quickly informed the third Hokage-sama about this matter. That fake hidden ninja who sneaked into the examination hall is most likely Orochimaru. Anko said in a deep voice. What? Orochimaru? Isn't that guy a traitor ninja from the S-rank village? The two ninjas simultaneously let out a cry of surprise. They were also very young, and obviously did not understand much about Orochimaru's past. Anko waved her sleeve, her expression unusually solemn. Don't talk so much. Quickly follow my orders and carry them out. This matter is much more serious than you imagine. Yes, Captain Anko. The two clasped their hands in agreement, turned around and ran towards the Hokage building's office at full speed. Orochimaru, no matter what you want to do, this time I will definitely stop you. Even if it means dying together with you. Anko's face revealed a trace of determination. She turned around and headed towards the direction of the Forest of Death. Death Ginseng Lam Dawn face a piece of area. Naruto and Orochimaru at this moment are still fighting to the death. After the previous round of ninjutsu, this time it changed to body technique. Naruto opened the 8 gates to the 6th gate. The speed was already so fast that it was hard to believe. Unexpectedly, Orochimaru also used his own method to barely catch up with Naruto's footsteps without falling into a disadvantage. He lay on the ground with all 4 limbs, not knowing what new method he used, causing a very long snake tail to grow from behind his butt. The whole person was like an exceptionally large lizard, going back and forth between the giant trees, constantly circling to avoid Naruto's monster power fist attacks.
Boom boom tilde tilde. Boom boom tilde tilde.
Every time Naruto punched, he could smash a large tree into pieces and send it flying. But the fist wind was always so slow, it brushed past Orochimaru's body, unable to hit Orochimaru's body. Ugh. Orochimaru took advantage of the opportunity. His neck twisted 180 degrees, opened his torn mouth wide, and threw his tongue towards Naruto. The long red tongue in the air rapidly transformed into a python and came straight towards Naruto's face. Naruto's feet had just landed on the ground and he hadn't had time to dodge when the python wrapped tightly around his waist. Feeling the huge squeezing force from the python, Naruto felt a sharp pain in his side, causing him to grit his teeth. Humph. Orochimaru, I didn't think you would bring it to my door. Naruto endured the pain, shouted loudly, grabbed the python's snake body with one hand, and used force to pull back strongly. Rustle a bit. Orochimaru couldn't withstand Naruto's strange power. His body was instantly jerked back. Eat my punch. Naruto clenched his right fist. A large amount of chakra gathered on his fist, and punched Orochimaru hard on the door. Break! Orochimaru's face appeared to have a concave transformation, followed by a miserable scream, and her entire body flew backwards. Not done yet. Not done yet. Naruto was unusually angry, and let out a loud shout. Orochimaru's body flew out more than 10 meters. His left hand grabbed Orochimaru's transformed snake tongue, and used force to pull it strongly behind his back. Orochimaru once again lost control of his body, and was pulled towards Naruto's direction and flew past. Ugh. Just as Naruto was about to use the monster force fist to attack again, Orochimaru suddenly opened his mouth wide, and a sharp long sword came out of his mouth, stabbing straight into Naruto's heart. That sword Naruto really recognized, named Kusanagi, was a weapon that was famous throughout the Naruto world. In addition to being exceptionally sharp, it could also be controlled by the owner's will. Therefore, Naruto did not dare to be too subjective. He could only let go of Orochimaru's long tongue, flipped backwards to avoid Kusanagi's stab, and raised his foot to kick Orochimaru in the upper abdomen. Break! Ah! Even though it was an emergency, Naruto didn't use his demonic power, but Orochimaru was still kicked high into the air, letting out a miserable cry of pain. Shadow, snake hand. In midair, Orochimaru waved his right hand. His arm transformed into a python, wrapping around a large tree in the distance. As that arm rapidly contracted and pulled back, the body was also carried towards that big tree and flew away. Hoo-ho, this damned nine-tailed demon. How can he be so difficult to deal with? If not for the fact that I have some tricks up my sleeve that I haven't used yet, I would definitely kill this damned demon. Orochimaru stood on the tree branch, a pair of eyes full of resentment glaring at Naruto. Calculating such a person has his own ambitions, he definitely won't mess up my plans. Today this body is almost at its limit, I'll go first. Saying that, Orochimaru wrapped around the big tree for a while, twisted and wriggled, climbed up, and burrowed into the ground before disappearing on the spot. That guy left. Looking at the big tile disappearing from sight, Naruto then relaxed his tense nerves, hurriedly canceled the 8 gates escape state, and held onto the tree trunk, his mouth wide open, panting non-stop. Hoo-ho, Kage level is still Kage level. That Orochimaru really can't beat Xiaochong to death, so being beaten like this is fine. Naruto clenched his teeth. Sweat beads the size of beans like raindrops, slowly flowing down his forehead. The first time opening the 6th level of the 8 gates dungeon, and continuously maintaining high-intensity combat for nearly 20 minutes. Naruto's body had already begun to show signs of exhaustion. Even his muscles were twitching, sending out tearing pain. Through the original work's understanding of Orochimaru, Naruto could judge that at this moment, Orochimaru, although not yet as powerful as his later stages, but he still has many tricks up his sleeve, which he did not use in the battle just now. Kage level is always Kage level. Naruto at this time should not have reached that level yet. just hovering in the ranks of the elite Chunin. Being able to persist until now in this state, Naruto was almost at his limit. Although Hiraishin can be used at any time, Naruto's life is not in any danger. Although it is said that this killer move, Wind Release Rasen Shuriken, was not used, Naruto did not come here to risk his life with Orochimaru. He just wanted to cooperate with him. Since there was no way to talk, Naruto would act according to the situation and take Danzo's life in his own way. The sun slowly fell from the mountaintop. One day at dusk had arrived. Naruto leaned against the big tree and sat down, closing his eyes to rest for a long time. Only then did he stand up, drag his weak body, and head towards the direction of little Sakura and Sasuke. Although Naruto currently feels very tired and weak and really wants to immediately fall asleep. But at this time, little Sakura and Sasuke had both fallen into a coma. In this kind of dangerous situation, if no one kept watch, they would naturally become prey in the eyes of others. Furthermore, in the afternoon, Naruto and Orochimaru's fight caused such a huge commotion that there were already quite a few ninja contestants nearby, hiding around and carefully investigating. In other words, Naruto is currently camping here with little Sakura and Sasuke, so there are probably many eyes watching. Boss, I see that those 3 little brats seem to be a bit off. 2 of them are still unconscious and haven't woken up, and one of them is also physically weak. That's right, boss. Why don't we take this opportunity to deal with those 3 little brats in one fell swoop and rob them of the scrolls? In the middle of the dense forest, 3 ninjas wearing gas masks were secretly plotting and discussing in low voices. They were wearing light yellow uniforms, not knowing which small country's ninja they were. I see no problem.
Can try it.
One of the ninja-haired explosives nodded in agreement. Immediately, the 3 people slowly searched through the woods, approaching Naruto's location and searching the past. With the same idea as the 3 of them, there were also several ninja teams. However, after these ninjas saw Naruto's perverted strength in the late afternoon, they did not dare to attack so easily. They are just waiting for other teams to go ahead and conduct an exploration, then find a chance to take back the needed scroll. Little devils of Konoha. Quickly hand over your scrolls, or else none of you 3 will be able to leave this place today. 3 men wearing gas masks jumped out from behind the woods. They approached Naruto's team at the same time. Their hands also formed seals, displaying their best ninjutsu. In just a moment, one after another masked men appeared. Their appearances almost identical to the 3 of them. But these people's movements were unusually slow. They just moved with that stiff footwork, slowly approaching forward. This is Shadow Clone? It doesn't look like it. Naruto opened his eyes and looked at those masked men, frowned and muttered, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique. Still sitting with his back against the big tree, Naruto formed a Shadow Clone hand seal with both hands. Several Shadow Clone that looked exactly like Naruto appeared beside Naruto. Let's go. Go chase them all away. Don't disturb my rest. Naruto waved his hand.
Ah!
The 3 clones cried out in agreement, leaping up from the ground and charging towards the large patch of masked men in the other direction. Break, 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 puff, 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 puff. 3 Naruto Shadow Clones didn't waste any energy, immediately dealt with the large array of masked men in front of them. Shadow Clone is the same as Naruto in terms of elite Jinchuriki strength. How can it not defeat these slow-moving masked men? But a terrifying scene appeared. Those masked men, after being stabbed by a kunai or defeated, would have a large puddle of water oozing out from their wounds. Those stagnant water instantly turned into successive masked male split bodies. In less than half a minute, the 3 Naruto Shadow Clones had already knocked out several hundred masked men. Not only did they not lose any, there were still double the number of masked men divided into several hundred, continuing to slowly surround Naruto. Little Konoha brat, you better behave yourself. We admit, your performance this afternoon was indeed startling, but our ninjutsu is not that easy to deal with. The masked man in the lotus body let out a strange laugh, and his defeated split body charged forward together, suppressing the 3 Naruto Shadow Clones under his body, instantly destroying them all. Which village ninja are those 3 people from? How could they have this kind of rogue ability? I think that type of magic should belong to the category of illusion magic, but it is different from basic illusion magic. It is indeed very difficult to play. Not far away in the middle of the forest, there were several ninja teams discussing loudly. Naruto heard this, even though he was wearing a ninja uniform. Only then did he open his eyes and looked at them with disdain. Want me to have a proper attitude towards you guys? What are you guys, just a bunch of thieves? Only able to pick up cheap little things. While speaking, Naruto's right hand slightly raised, a rotating blue chakra light sphere, continuously moving in the palm of his hand. As Naruto poured wind-release chakra into the ball of light, a deafening and unpleasant buzzing sound immediately appeared, causing everyone's eardrums to feel uncomfortable. Good. This is the result of my proper attitude towards you. I will reward you greatly. Wind Style, Universal Speaker Sword. Wind Style, Universal Speaker Sword. Beside the Rasengan, four rapidly rotating wind wings appeared, like an exceptionally large shuriken, rapidly rotating in Naruto's hand, emitting ear-piercing whirring sounds. Naruto did not stand up, just waved his hand and used force to throw the wind-release Rasen shuriken in his hand towards those masked men. Be careful. Big guy, get out of the way. Always hiding behind those mystic art clones, the masked man, face full of panic, spoke up to remind teammates at the same time, also flew away, towards a big tree after hitting it. The Rasen shuriken in the center erupted, flashing an eyesore of intense light. Grandfather. Approximately 30 meters in radius, all were surrounded by that strong light.
Boss.
Any object inside the strong light will be subjected to strong force. Move, that large tree range, all cut to break off, facing to one side.
Tilt back.
Miserable screams rang out one after another. The three masked men's bodies were all in trouble. None of them were lucky enough to escape. Hiding around to watch the ninja competition, the whole group was staring with their mouths wide open. The scene before his eyes, his back was covered in cold sweat, his clothes were soaked. Oh my god, what level of ninjutsu is this? How can it be so terrifyingly powerful? Is that blonde-haired brat really here to participate in the Chunin exams? I feel like taking. With his strength, he can completely advance directly to the level of a Jinchuriki. Stop talking. While that blonde little devil hasn't discovered anything outside yet, let's hurry and leave this place first. If you don't wait a while and give us a shot, then it's over. The ninja groups hiding in various places all had the urge to retreat in their hearts, quietly shrinking back, afraid of making any noise and attracting the attention of that blonde guy. Waiting until the Rasen shuriken's intense light receded, the hundreds of thousands of masked male clones just now all disappeared without a trace, leaving only 3 masked male corpses, lying silently on the ground. Every inch of their bodies had traces of cuts. The wounds weren't very obvious, but the level of the cuts was truly astonishing. But the injuries on the surface weren't the most terrifying. If a medical ninja were to check the bodies of the 3 of them, they would discover that all the cells and meridian tissues in the 3 bodies had been torn apart and destroyed. It was as if countless nano-shaped wind blades had entered their bodies and were slashing and slashing at their bodies. Not everyone you guys can provoke, being so unrestrained. In this situation, one should be more humble. Naruto opened his eyes and looked at the 3 people, then tilted his head back again, leaned against the big tree, and began to close his eyes and rest. The 8 Gates release consumes life force. Even though Naruto's body is tired at this moment, I'm so tired, but I can still use ninjutsu normally. Moreover, this kind of night watch work can also be done by Shadow Clone. The body can really rest well. Retired. Just as Naruto was about to form the Shadow Clone hand seal, a figure quickly jumped from afar and landed in front of Naruto not far away. Wearing a fishing net outfit, the pair of large waves on her chest rose high and high. Also, match the outside with a light yellow jacket and give this woman an added touch. Add a heroic spirit. Anko Madarashi turned her head to look at the 3 masked men wearing bodysuits, and couldn't help but frown in surprise. How could they have caused such serious injuries? Seeing that the other 3 people were all dead, he turned around to look at the people facing him. Naruto, Anko in her heart guessed something. Since Naruto learned 2 forbidden techniques at the ninja graduation exam that day, his reputation has already spread throughout the Leaf Village ninja world. Therefore, Anko did not feel strange towards Naruto, even before she accepted the 2nd round of the Chunin exams. The 3rd Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, also specially informed her, wanting to focus on Naruto. Naruto at the Chunin exams after will be placed in the Yenbyu. Naruto, did you kill all 3 of these people? Anko stepped forward and bowed her head towards Naruto asked. Naruto nodded slightly. That's right, if they want to cause trouble for me, then they can only pay with their lives, Senior Anko. Isn't this against the assessment rules? Anko shook her head. No, don't worry, Naruto. I'm not here to cause you trouble. Saying that, Anko pointed to a piece of messy forest behind her and asked Naruto again, what's the situation over there? Is it also your masterpiece? The place she was talking about was the place where Naruto and Orochimaru fought in the afternoon in that dense forest. Naruto and Orochimaru fought for more than half an hour, stunned. There was no clear winner, but the surrounding geographical conditions can also be imagined. It was soon brought to a state of complete desolation. Place. The giant tree was not broken, but was beaten until it was tilted and twisted. Even the ground above it was uneven, full of battle marks. Yes, I fought with a guy this afternoon. Naruto answered honestly. Anko's eyes involuntarily flashed with surprise. One could imagine how intense the battle must have been to be able to transform such a large area into this state. Naruto, who are you fighting with this afternoon? Why did you bring your side? How did this turn out? Anko asked worriedly. After receiving the news, she ran to the Forest of Death alone. But the area here was really too large. To find Orochimaru's whereabouts was like looking for a needle in a haystack. If it weren't for the huge commotion that Naruto and Orochimaru caused in the battle, which could be observed from afar, Anko probably wouldn't have found this place until now. Hearing Anko ask such a question, and referring to the original script, Naruto roughly guessed Anko's purpose. This afternoon I fought with a strange guy. His attack methods were. Most of them are taking advantage of this python. Anko's face was startled. She quickly squatted down, grabbed Naruto's arm, worried. Said, using the python? What does she look like? Is she Orochimaru? That guy. Numbs Senior Anko. You touch lightly. It hurts. Naruto retracted his neck, inhaling a breath of cold air. The 8 Gates Duinjia has been used for a long time and has left behind aftereffects due to the loss of life force. The reason is that the cells in the body become extremely sensitive at this time and are easily touched, will be painful to bear. Not to mention if Anko used force to grab it like this, it would be like giving Naruto a strong punch. Is that so? That's inconvenient. Naruto, what are you doing? Anko's face showed a trace of embarrassment, and she quickly let go of Naruto's arm. Naruto shook his head. It's nothing. This is the after effects of using 8 Gates escape. Now, if you use force to touch me, it will hurt. Speaking, Naruto smacked his lips towards the big tree beside him. Senior Anko, don't be impatient. Listen to me slowly tell you. That monster has already gone far away. Ah, good. Anko nodded helplessly and sat down beside Naruto. Naruto first took out the kettle, took a sip of water, then talked to Anko about the afternoon experience. From the beginning of Sakura and Sasuke being bewitched by Orochimaru, then Naruto himself fighting with Orochimaru. However, this process was slightly changed by Naruto, changing it to Naruto being the one being beaten to death by Orochimaru. As for why? Of course, Naruto temporarily did not think about revealing his true strength. If he told Anko everything now, it would be the same as telling the third Hokage, which wouldn't be beneficial for his future revenge plans. Speaking of this, Naruto sighed and said, that's how it is. I relied on the speed of the 8 Gates escape, making it so that the monster couldn't catch me. Then the monster gave up and ran away. Anko frowned. So it's like this, Naruto, like you said, that monster, his name is Orochimaru. Naruto looked doubtful. What? Who is Orochimaru? Isn't she a grass village ninja? Anko shook her head. No, this is just something she used to impersonate herself. The real hidden ninja was killed by her. Speaking, Anko's eyes revealed appreciation as she tilted her head back and looked at Naruto, speaking in a low voice. Naruto, you brat are indeed the New Leaf Village's #1 genius, to actually be able to linger with someone like Orochimaru for half an hour. Naruto smiled awkwardly. Hee Senior Anko. This is nothing. If you came, you should be able to do it too. Anko shook her head and said seriously, no, Naruto, you don't know what these 3 words Orochimaru mean. His strength might be on par with the Third Lord. No, that's strong. Naruto once again pretended to be startled. He had to act it out. Anko nodded slightly. That's right. That's why I said you're very outstanding, to be able to reach this level of strength at such a young age. Although Naruto already knew the details, but now hearing Anko's words of praise, he still couldn't help but feel a little bossy. Okay, let's go see what's going on with that kid. Saying that, Anko stood up and walked over to Sasuke. She took out a lighter from her chest, placed it next to her mouth and blew on it. The tip of the lighter began to burn fiercely. Immediately, she lifted Sasuke's head up again, and with the help of the lighter in her hand, she carefully began to examine the curse mark on Sasuke's neck. This thing. It really is the cursed seal of heaven. That Orochimaru guy actually attacked this child. What exactly does he want to do? Anko whispered softly. Naruto also moved his butt closer, looked over at Sasuke, and observed a bit. At this moment, his eyes were closed, his brows were furrowed. His body occasionally twitched twice, looking like he was enduring some kind of pain. Then on the other neck of the heavenly seal, other than the black dots that could be seen emanating from it, there was nothing else special. Senior Anko, how is Sasuke? Is his life in danger? Naruto asked. Anko shook her head. I can't be sure about this either. But the cursed seal's power is currently eroding this child's body. If he can't persevere through this pain, I'm afraid he will lose his life here.
Naruto.
Then, what should we do? Anko pondered for a moment, then decided. Let's do it like this, Naruto. You guys should have brought the heavenly scroll and earthly scroll, right? Naruto nodded. Yes, got it. Anko hugged Sasuke's body with one hand. That's good. This second round of assessment is considered as you 3 people passing. I will bring this Uchiha kid back first. Find the 3rd Hokage to deal with him. Otherwise, I'm afraid his life might be in danger. As for you and that girl, you can either run to your death in the jungle tower alone first, or go out with me and wait until the exam time to run to the next assessment location. Naruto hesitated for a moment and said, Is that so? Then I'll take little Sakura and run to the center of the tower first, to avoid having to run back here again later, which is troublesome enough. Alright, you two be careful, goodbye. Anko agreed, hugged Sasuke, and jumped up the big tree, running towards the outside of the forest of death. Searching for Orochimaru is temporarily out of the question, but compared to finding Orochimaru, Anko has already gotten accurate information through Naruto. Orochimaru completely infiltrated Konoha and simultaneously attacked the 3 children of Class 7. Orochimaru's purpose in going out, and the important information Naruto provided to Anko, all of them definitely wanted to quickly report to the 3rd Hokage so that he could make a decision on how to deal with Orochimaru. Multiple shadow clone technique. Looking at Anko's back disappearing into the darkness, Naruto also formed the shadow clone hand seal, preparing to close his eyes and rest. Really can't bear it. I can't sleep. The body might force Naruto into a coma. You guys are on guard for 5 nights. I'll go to sleep first. Giving orders to the clone group, Naruto closed his eyes and fell asleep heavily. This night's sleep was not ideal. Although winter was approaching, there were still many snakes, insects, rats, and ants in the forest. Mosquitoes, next to his ear, directly affected. A mouthful will immediately swell a package. Finally forced to the point of no other choice, Naruto had to crawl up again, make his own sleeping bag, get into the sleeping bag, with the protection of the mosquito net behind, then peacefully fell asleep. Naruto, wake up, wake up. Early the next morning, Naruto felt his body being shaken, and only then did he open his eyes in a daze. Seeing that little Sakura was pushing him around, he impatiently opened his Byakugan. What are you doing? You didn't let me sleep early in the morning. Little Sakura asked with a worried expression. Naruto, where is Sasuke-kun? Where did he go? Why can't I see him? Naruto turned around, his back facing her, and continued to close his eyes. Sasuke-kun was taken away by the examiner. He went to treat his injuries. He will be back soon. What? Sasuke is injured. What exactly happened? Quickly tell me. Little Sakura's tone became more anxious. Naruto lazily said, He's fine, don't worry, it's just a small wound. Don't bother me to sleep again or I'll hit you. Humph. If you don't want to say it,
Then don't say it.
What's so special about it? Little Sakura angrily glared at Naruto, turned around and walked back to sit down beside a large tree. Hokage building office. Sarutobi Hiruzen was pacing back and forth in front of the window, his face full of sadness, his hands behind his back. Last night, Anko sent someone over to report that Orochimaru had been found missing. Sarutobi Hiruzen was a bit restless at that time. Without even having the mind to approve the document, a large number of elite Umbu personnel were sent to immediately rush to the Death Forest to investigate. Late at night, Anko brought Uchiha Sasuke to appear at the second-floor office, bringing Sarutobi Hiruzen an even more shocking news. Orochimaru and the 7th class's 3 little guys fought, and also planted the cursed seal of heaven on Sasuke. In the end, it was Naruto who relied on the 8 Gates release technique and Flying Thunder God technique to drag Orochimaru out, and was able to force Orochimaru to leave. Hearing that Naruto now had the strength to fight Orochimaru, Sarutobi Hiruzen was both happy and surprised. The one who is happy is his subordinate. In the future, he wants to become an extraordinary character. The one who is surprised is naturally because Naruto's strength is increasing at such a fast rate. Last night, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not sleep all night, waiting for the ENBU personnel to bring back news. It might be morning already, but none of those elite Umbu have returned yet. Retired. Just when Sarutobi Hiruzen was getting a little impatient, 2 masked ninjas suddenly appeared from afar and jumped over, kneeling on one knee in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Third Hokage-sama, I'm very sorry. Last night our people almost completely searched the forest of death in the dark, but still didn't find any trace of Orochimaru. Oh, dear. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed, walked back to his big chair, and sat down. I should have guessed this outcome long ago. If that Orochimaru guy doesn't want you to find him, I'm afraid even if you dig 3 feet deep, you still won't be able to catch him. The cat face and ninja mask drooped down. I'm sorry, Third Hokage-sama. It's our incompetence. Sarutobi Hiruzen waved his sleeve, picked up the pipe on the table, lit it, and took a deep breath. Calculating, this kind of thing can't be blamed on you guys. What about that kid Naruto? The cat-faced ninja mask replied. Naruto is fine. He must have slept well last night, using 5 shadow clones to stay around and keep watch at night. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded slightly. Yes. This little guy is still very vigilant. He is really a good boy. Let you investigate other matters? The cat-faced ninja masked man nodded. Regarding the 3rd Hokage, we have thoroughly examined the area where the battle took place. Just like Naruto said, there was a very intense battle. It must have been caused by a powerful 8 Gates release technique. Hearing that, Sarutobi Hiruzen was now slightly relieved. He let the Umbu people investigate the scene, wanting to see if Naruto was lying to Anko or not. If Naruto really had something to hide on purpose, then it also showed that Kakashi's worries were indeed somewhat justified. Strength increased too quickly, so quickly that it was unimaginable. Although this kind of thing happened before the eyes of the 2nd Hokage, it also happened before the 4th Hokage. But after all, Naruto is not like those two. From the very beginning, he was a genius-like existence. Just as Shimura Danzo said, Naruto in the early days of ninja school always had no outstanding places, even in the last few classes. After graduating, Naruto was like a hacker. His strength increased rapidly. This was really a bit unbelievable. Calculating, this kind of thing should wait until there is a chance later. Then I will properly ask that kid Naruto. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head, already determined in his heart. Death in the jungle. A red-haired boy carrying a large gourd on his back, with an evil expression on his face, slowly walked forward. Following this boy behind was a man and a woman, wearing the same Sand Village ninja Hittite forehead treasure as him. But at this moment, the faces of this man and woman were filled with helplessness. Looking at the red-haired boy's back, a trace of fear involuntarily appeared in their eyes. How many kills did this Gaara guy do on the way? Kankuro asked with a frown. Temari shook her head. I don't know either. Anyone who dares to come near us or is discovered by him will be killed by him. Kankuro looked helpless. Perhaps this Gaara guy came here to participate in the exam. Precisely, so that he can kill, without any restraint. Temari, Kankuro, what are you two whispering about? Hurry up. Gaara's eyes were filled with bloodshot eyes as he turned around and glared at the two of them, startling them both. Ah. Ha, Gaara, we know. A smile appeared on Temari's face that was uglier than crying, and she nodded in agreement. Obviously, she felt fear in her heart towards her younger brother. Humph, Gaara snorted softly, turned his head, and continued walking forward. Just after walking for less than 10 minutes, 3 ninjas suddenly jumped out from the bushes ahead, blocking Gaara and his group's path. The other 3 people were wearing special grass-style cloaks with a Hung Chi Kwak Ninja Hittite forehead treasure on their heads. Leading the way was a person wearing a wide-brimmed hat on his head, holding an oil paper umbrella in his hand, smiling as he glanced at Gaara and the other 3. It really wasn't easy. We've been lying in ambush here for so long, and finally 3 people passed by. The wide-brimmed ninja said. Kankuro and Temari glanced at each other, knowing that this situation was not good. They were afraid that these 3 would die again. Temari hurriedly shouted to remind. Hey, the 3 of you, run quickly. We don't have anything you want on us. Huh? Before she could finish speaking, Gaara turned his head and glared fiercely, scaring Temari so much that she didn't dare to continue speaking. Gaara took out 2 scrolls from his body, and the bloodthirsty killing intent in his eyes grew even more intense. If you want our scrolls, just let go and snatch them away. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. The 3 ninjas of Hung Chi Kwok glanced at each other, each with a trace of a smile on their faces. Obviously, the 3 of them were very confident in their own strength and were confident that they could obtain the Earth Axis scroll they needed. The leader of the ninja, wearing a wide-brimmed hat, strode forward and said in a low voice, Little brother, I think it's best if you obediently hand over the scroll to us properly. If the 3 of us really make a move, we'll risk your lives. Not far away in the bushes, 3 short-headed ninjas were lying on the ground, peering out through the gaps in the branches and leaves to look outside. Kiba Inuzuka touched Akamaru's head and said in a low voice, They want to fight. What should we do? Hyuga Hinata shook his head. I don't know either. Otherwise we should see the situation first and then talk. Shino Aburame. I agree with Hinata's point of view. Anyway, we still haven't gotten the heavenly scroll we need. Waiting for the right moment is not a bad solution. Class 8, 3 people very early already hid in this bush inside. At first, they were also walking normally. But with Hinata's Byakugan's clairvoyance, they quickly discovered the 3 people ambushing ahead. Just wanted to turn back to find another route forward. But discovered Gaara, 3 people coming from behind. Looking at Gaara's ferocious expression, the 8th class 3 people did not dare to come out and look for a place to hide. The woods outside. Encountering Gaara provoking the 3 people of Xiong at this moment the entire group's faces turned extremely ugly, already starting to prepare to fight. It seems that the Sand Ninja village really has no manners. You wouldn't listen to my kind persuasion. Then you little brat, just wait until you die. The wide-brimmed ninja threw the oil paper umbrella in his hand into the air, and immediately his 2 hands rapidly formed seals. Secret technique of the Sunbon umbrella formation. He finished forming the seal, and the oil paper umbrella opened in the air. After several streaks of mist exploded, 10 identical oil paper umbrellas appeared.
Ba 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 ba.
As the oil paper umbrella in the air flew with the wind, countless silver needles flew out from the umbrella's ribs, as dense as raindrops, shooting straight down towards Gaara. Gaara didn't even blink an eye, continuing to stand there with his arms crossed, maintaining a look of disdain. And the sand inside the big gourd on his back seemed to have its own consciousness, rushing to open the gourd lid and running out. At Gaara's head, a large patch of sand and soil formed as a defense. Those silver needles continuously stabbed into the sand and soil above. Even the surrounding ground was also filled with countless silver needles. But not a single one was able to break through the sand and soil's defenses, creating any threat to Gaara. What the hell is going on with the sand? That kid's defense is actually so formidable. The wide-brimmed ninja's face was filled with horror. Gaara's eyes were filled with bloodshot, his expression filled with contempt as he said, This is what you call being able to hurt me with just one move? You're a little too weak. Speaking, Gaara used one hand to make a void move, and a large patch of sand under his feet moved up, turning into 3 giant sand arms, one hand grabbing the 3 Hero Nation ninjas. Sabaka Q, Sabaka Q. Gaara's hand gently clenched, and the 3 Xiongji Nation ninja instantly had blood on the spot. Even their bodies were completely crushed. The image was extremely bloody and cruel. Kankuro and Temari, looking at this scene before their eyes, only felt a moment of bewilderment in their hearts. Although they have seen this kind of thing many times along the way, this kind of disgusting image still makes them unable to adapt. In the bushes, the 3rd group of people saw this scene. Their faces turned pale, cold sweat running down their foreheads. Even Akamaru's legs trembled, and he was so scared that he tilted his head and crawled into Kiba Inuzuka's clothes. Although their boasted strength is not bad, but compared to that perverted murderous demon Gaara, it is really not worth mentioning. Who knows, if we just call face to face, we will be like those 3 Xiong Jigua, crushed on the spot. Hinata, Shino, let's go. Get away from these people. Kiba Inuzuka said softly. Yes. Hinata and Shino both softly agreed. Crackle. Just as Kiba Inuzuka wanted to slowly climb out of the forest, he unluckily stepped on a dry tree branch, making a loud noise. Oh no, Kiba Inuzuka felt nervous. Huh? Gaara's hearing was extremely sharp. He immediately turned his head to look at the forest in the other direction in doubt, and raised his hand, ready to attack.
Gaara.
Forget it. Listen to Big Sister this once. Don't kill like that anymore. Those people are no threat to us. Temari immediately rushed forward, pulled Gaara's arm, and advised. Gaara's face was cold. He turned his head and glared at Temari. Temari, you bastard, do you want to die? Get lost. Using force to wave his hand, pushing Temari far away, Gaara once again raised his right hand, pointing towards the direction of that bush. Rustle, rustle. The sand on the ground seemed to be Gaara's central servant, immediately following Gaara's meaning. It condensed into 3 huge sand arms, quickly dove into the woods. One hand grabbed the third person of the 8th class and came out. Konoha ninja? Since you guys ran into me, you can only blame yourself for your bad luck. The evil smile on Gaara's face once again appeared. Kiba Inuzuka struggled hard, wanting to escape from this hand of sand and dirt. Disgusting. Why could I die in this kind of place? Shino Aburame was also struggling, although his expression was relatively calm, but his forehead was continuously seeping cold sweat. He had completely given up his inner thoughts. Papa, I'm sorry. Your son cannot do what you promised. Hyuga Hinata's eyes filled with tears. 2 lines of tears slid down her cheeks. Daddy. Hanabi, Naruto-kun, I'm sorry. I might not have the chance to meet you again in the future.
Gaara let out a strange laugh.
Looking at the painful, struggling expressions of the 3 preys in his hands, causing an indescribable pleasure to appear in his heart. This kind of holding onto the feeling of life and death, that kind of discarding other people's existence for a moment, can always let Gaara find his own meaning in living. Rest assured and go die. Konoha people. As if he was finally bored of playing, Gaara was also prepared to end the lives of these 3 people before his eyes. Sabaka Q, Sabaka Q. Collect, collect, collect. At the same time Gaara's hand clenched, the 3 kunai also simultaneously arrived at the center of the 3 sand arms, staring straight into the sand. The tip of the kunai where the explosive talisman was tied started to rapidly burn, touching the word, explode, in the yellow paper talisman at the moment. Rumble. 3 explosive sounds rang out, breaking off the 3 sand arms. Disgusting. Who is it? Who is ruining my good things? Gaara's face turned purple with anger. He raised his head and looked around, only to see Naruto appear on a giant tree at some unknown time. He suddenly transformed into an orange lightning bolt, disappearing on the spot. In the next blink of an eye, Naruto appeared beside Hinata, reached out and pushed away the huge sand in his hand, caught Hinata, who was about to fall to the ground, and hugged her into his arms. Hinata, how are you? Are you okay? Hinata at first thought that she was definitely going to die. She closed her eyes tightly, waiting for death to come. When she heard Naruto's voice, an indescribable joy rose in her heart, and she suddenly opened her eyes wide. Naruto-kun, it's really you? You came to save me? His 2 feet landed firmly on the ground. Naruto lowered his head to look at Hinata's chest. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Yes, of course, I came to save you. That's great. I was just praying. I didn't think you would actually appear. Hinata was extremely excited, her 2 arms wrapped around Naruto's neck, hugging Naruto's body tightly. Feeling the soft support on his chest, Naruto felt a strange feeling rise in his heart. But Naruto didn't reveal much, just reached out and gently patted Hinata's back, softly comforting her. Hinata, don't worry, with me here, I won't let anything happen to you. Hearing Naruto's domineering tone, Hinata instantly felt extremely reassured. She buried her head deep in Naruto's chest and gently nodded. Yes. Kiba Inuzuka and Shino Aburame, although they were both saved at the same time, but they didn't have Naruto to pick them up. They fell to the ground unprepared and immediately gritted their teeth in pain. Kiba Inuzuka hugged his almost fallen butt, tears streaming down his face as he turned to look at Naruto. Naruto, you really value beauty over friendship. To think we were also in the same skipping class group, 5 people behind, yet you only cared about saving Hinata. Naruto freed his hands and raised a middle finger towards Kiba Inuzuka. My brother is not a Soasin right now, and you are not a girl either. What is so precious? Throwing it twice won't kill you. Woof woof. Akamaru poked his head out from the crack in Kiba's chest and barked excitedly at Naruto, as if to thank him. Shino Aburame let out a sigh of relief, crawled up from the ground, and patted the mud on his body. Kiba, being able to save a life this time is already considered not bad. You don't have to complain about this and that. At this moment, Sakura Haruno ran from behind the trees in the middle of the forest, catching up with Naruto's footwork. Naruto, you run too fast. Do you really want to leave me alone? Sakura Haruno waved her small fist, complaining in dissatisfaction. But very quickly, she discovered that the situation here was a bit very inappropriate. Not far away, there were 3 human corpses kneaded into a donut shape, lying in a pool of blood. And the other 3 guys carrying the Sand Village Ninja Hitayate forehead treasure were looking at the group of people from the Leaf Village with a wary face. Naruto. What exactly is going on? Gaara's bloodthirsty gaze made Sakura Haruno feel a trace of fear in her heart. She couldn't help but move her steps a little, moving closer to Naruto. Naruto gently put Hinata down, shook his head and said, Hinata, little Sakura, you all step back a bit. That guy is not someone you can deal with right now.
Yes.
The 2 women nodded at the same time, slowly retreating to the back. Hinata naturally unconditionally believed Naruto's words. As for little Sakura, she also clearly understood how much strength she had, so she wouldn't stubbornly try to hold on and join in the fun. Gaara slowly walked forward, his cold eyes looked at Naruto, and said in a low voice, Uzumaki Naruto, right? I recognize you. The time you beat that Kankuro guy before left a deep impression on me. Kankuro's face revealed a trace of shame. That time, being beaten so badly and not having the strength to fight back, for Kankuro, it was absolutely a kind of humiliation.
Hey,
Gaara. Before he could finish speaking, Gaara turned his head and glared at him. The words that were just at the corner of his mouth were so scared that he swallowed them back. Is that so? Then, do I still have to thank you for remembering me? Naruto's mouth corners revealed a trace of a smile. Gaara let out a strange laugh. Kai. There's nothing wrong with you thanking me, because today here, I will send you and your teammates to hell, ending this boring and painful life. The host is currently facing the threat of the one-tailed Jinchuriki Gaara. Now the host has announced a reward for choosing the mission below. Choice 1. Break through one-tailed Jinchuriki Gaara's absolute defense. Beat him 10 times. Completing the mission can reward the host with Lightning Release System Ninjutsu, Lightning Release Shadow Clone. Second place. Break through one-tailed Jinchuriki Gaara's absolute defense. Beat him to a position where he has no power to fight back. Complete the mission and get the host Water Release Ninjutsu. Hard Whirlpool Water Blade as a reward. The system's lowly reminder voice suddenly rang out in Naruto's mind, startling Naruto. But when Naruto heard the first choice of mission, he couldn't help but frown. Hey, system, what the hell are you doing beating that little ding-ding 10 times? What kind of ghost mission is this? The mission rules are determined by the system itself. The host has no right to interfere. Naruto helplessly curled his lips. Good, your personality is awesome. You are the boss, alright. System, then I ask you, can I first complete the first selection mission and then complete the second selection and get 2 rewards? The mission system is announced differently each time. If the host has the ability to complete 2 levels of missions, the reward can be multiplied. Hearing the system's recovery, Naruto's heart was not happy. At first, I just felt that these 2 ninjutsu, Lightning Release Shadow Clone and Water Release Hard Water Vortex Blade, were both very good ninjutsu. That's why Naruto could hold a lucky mentality and ask the system questions. Didn't think the system would actually let me pass. This is too good. Hey, Uzumaki Naruto, what the hell are you doing? Are you scared of me so quickly? Looking at Naruto standing there, frowning for a moment, then smiling foolishly, Gaara couldn't help but open his mouth to ask. Naruto disdainfully snorted lightly. Cut, I would be afraid of you?
brat.
Obediently hand over ding-ding. No. Obediently wait to get beaten up. Maybe I will be a little gentler. Just now Gaara's killing intent towards the 8th class, 3 people. Naruto from afar already felt it. Hinata, to the current Naruto, is the most important person in this world. His parents passed away right after he was born. On this journey, there were very few people who gave Naruto warmth. Except for Iruka, the only one who is truly wholeheartedly good to Naruto is Hinata, this gentle little girl. But today in this place, Gaara actually had murderous intentions towards Hinata, so this time Naruto naturally wouldn't let him off so easily. But Naruto said that after looking through the original work, he knew that Gaara became like this because of the tailed beast Jinchuriki's identity. Therefore, also remember this part of the affection, not intend to want Gaara's life. Kiba Inuzuka walked forward and gently pulled Naruto's arm. Naruto, be careful. I just saw with my own eyes that guy used sand to crush the bodies of 3 ninjas. He seems very difficult to deal with. Shino Aburame also followed along and said, Kiba is right, Naruto. We must be careful. His sand seems to be able to be controlled at will, able to attack and defend. Shino Aburame told Naruto all the information he had gotten from watching the battle. Yes, you two should also retreat to the back. Leave this battlefield to me. Naruto nodded slightly, waved his hand towards the two, and said,
Ah.
Interesting, Uzumaki Naruto, come here. Let me see how you hit me. Let me feel the pain once. Gaara threw his head back and let out a strange laugh, then immediately spread his arms and grabbed the void towards Naruto.
Boom boom tilde tilde.
The sand on the ground, under Gaara's control, gathered into a giant sand arm, reaching towards Naruto. Retired. Naruto shook himself and disappeared from the spot, running at high speed. I have never seen such a despicable request in my life. Don't worry, I will satisfy you in a moment. As he spoke, Naruto relied on his extremely fast speed to dodge the sand and earth, his arms catching him again and again. And he arrived in front of Gaara. Break. A powerful punch was swung out, but before the fist could reach within 50 centimeters of Gaara's face, it was blocked by a layer of sand. The huge fist force sent sand and dirt flying around, causing a huge hole to appear on the defensive wall. But even in this form, it did not cause any damage to Gaara. Ah! Gaara's eyes widened. The sand under Naruto's feet rapidly moved, turning into a sand palm, grabbing towards Naruto's body. Naruto reacted extremely quickly the moment he noticed the movement under his feet. He quickly dodged towards the side. Earth Release Earth Dragon Spear. Both hands danced at high speed. A set of Earth Release ninjutsu hand seals were completed in the blink of an eye. As Naruto squatted down, his palms suddenly patted the ground. Crack, crack. Cracks appeared in great numbers, and sharp stone pillars emerged from the ground, spreading forward from Naruto's front, stabbing straight towards Gaara. Gaara's face was slightly frightened. Obviously, he didn't expect Naruto to suddenly come to his aid like that. The sand under his feet rapidly moved, and in a blink of an eye it turned into a sand ball, enveloping Gaara in the middle. Puffy puffy. The sharp stone pillar group raised the sandball high, but it seemed like it did not break through the defense. Useless. Gaara's sand is absolutely defensive. No one can use ninjutsu to break it at will. Kankuro stood to the side. Couldn't help but frown and mumble. Temari shook her head slightly again. No, I saw that kid called Uzumaki Naruto. Maybe he really has a way to deal with Gaara, haven't you noticed? His speed is really too fast. Even Gaara's sands can't catch his body. The two people did not intentionally hide their voices when they spoke, so the ninjas not far away from Konoha village heard it clearly. Kiba Inuzuka sneered and said loudly, Cut! Do you really think that the red-haired brat called Gaara can defeat Naruto? I think you probably don't even know what Naruto means to our Konoha. Sakura Haruno also waved her small fist and shouted, That's right. Naruto is really the strongest character among our Konoha ninja. On the same day as the graduation exam, he had already learned the Flying Thunder God technique. If he knows this Hiraition ninjutsu, does your Gaara have a chance of winning? Hearing that, Temari's face revealed a look of horror. What? Flying Thunder God technique? Could it be that the legendary second Hokage of Konoha is proficient in Flying Thunder God technique? Kankuro's eyes also widened. Hiraition? Pass straight through the space-time flicker technique. Although Temari and Kankuro are both from the Sand Village, but with their status as Kazekage's children, they can come into contact with quite a few things. Moreover, the heroic history of the second Hokage Senju Tobarama is not a secret in the great ninja villages. It can be said that everyone knows him. That's why the two of them, brother and sister, were so surprised. Huh. Scared now? Little Sakura arrogantly wrinkled her nose, turned her head and clapped her hands with Kiba Inuzuka. Both of them revealed a victorious expression, but already had the tendency to become Naruto's little fan. But before the two of them could be happy for too long, Kankuro shook his head slightly. Useless. Just relying on Hiraishin alone has no way to break Gaara's defense, and still has no way to injure Gaara. After hearing this, little Sakura and Kiba Inuzuka were unhappy. They were just about to start explaining to the two people opposite. I think you guys are exaggerating about that, Gaara. Hinata didn't join in their conversation, just quietly observed Naruto on the battlefield, silently cheering and encouraging in her heart. Naruto-kun, I believe you can definitely do it, keep it up. Another side. Protecting Gaara was a sand and earth sphere, with a circular hole in front, providing Gaara with an outside view. He looked over at Naruto, who was standing quietly not far away, his bloodshot eyes revealing a trace of greed. Very good, Uzumaki Naruto. Your performance makes me very satisfied, come on. Continue to make me even more excited. Naruto helplessly shook his head. To be honest, you look like you really want to be beaten, making people unable to help but want to get rid of you. However, you turtle shell is indeed a bit troublesome. It seems I can use my skills to guard the house. Speaking, Naruto stood with his arms crossed in front of him, his entire body's muscles tensed, the veins on his forehead bulging one after another. 8 gates done, Jia, 6th level gate, open. Mister. As the 6th realm gate's acupoints burst open, a large amount of green steam spread out from Naruto's body. The orange sportswear was opened, and immediately the hair stood on end. The floral clothes had an impact, and finally the green steam rose straight up to the horizon, causing a strange scene to appear in this space. After just using the 6th gate of 8 gates Doonja yesterday, if it were Might Guy and Rock Lee, they definitely wouldn't be able to use it today. And their bodies would still need to recover and rest for a while. Maybe Naruto, and the two of them compared together, he had his own absolute advantage. Because the Uzumaki bloodline has a powerful recovery ability, no matter what kind of injury appears on the body, one must have a good sleep. And the next day the body will automatically recover to its original state. What a huge chakra ability. Could this guy be a monster too? Temari used her hand to block the green steam that was carrying a strong wind, blowing away the dust. Kankuro also couldn't help but have a face full of fear. This Uzumaki Naruto. Could it be that he really has the ability to defeat Gaara? Little Sakura. This is the 8 gates release technique. I really didn't think it would be this strong. Kiba Inuzuka. Hey, Hinata. You're not nice. You didn't even tell us how Naruto trained the 8 gates to this level. Hinata stammered. That. I don't know either. I didn't think Naruto-kun would be so strong. Kiba Inuzuka said that he really misunderstood Hinata. Although it is said that Hinata and Naruto practice together every morning, this matter has long been no secret. But Naruto has always discussed life and training with Hinata, never mentioning the issue of strength. This is something good to carry. Talking too much is like Naruto is bragging. But talking might even be a joke. Hinata confidence. Sasuke has been getting more and more unlikable lately. Isn't he just a good example? Another side.